Hey Lupus Life Hackers, Janine here from Lupus Health Shop. Welcome back to my channel, the best place for lupus warriors and supportive family and friends who want to learn more on how to decrease symptoms naturally and figure out the root causes of your disease. Last video I talked about what Candida is, how it grows in our body, and the connection to autoimmune disease. If you haven't watched that yet, make sure to click the video right up here so you can learn more. Then come back to this video so we can go through together exactly what I do on my Candida protocol. If you can eradicate Candida from your body, you will go into remission because you're able to heal leaky gut. I'm going to show you what supplements I take, how much I take, how I stay organized, because that's a really big deal, and how I have time to do all of this. Run with Lupus Health Shop, eat healthy, and how to stay on a good plan. Plus, I'm going to tell you how hard it was in the beginning for me and how I was able to overcome that. This will be really it's mentally challenging in the beginning. Don't let that intimidate you though, because now it is so worth it. After a week, I was feeling better. Do you want to thrive with lupus, prevent pain, figure out your root causes, and decrease symptoms? Then subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to click on that notification bell. All right, guys, let's dive in. First, my life before this protocol was actually pretty good. I mean, I worked full time. I run Lupus Health Shop, and it is getting very overwhelming. So the point of that was for me to start managing my stress levels and to start saying no to people. But I still was having some issues with other autoimmune issues and other chronic conditions, NCS, which is neurocardiogenic syncope, interstitial cystitis, and adenomyosis, and Hashimoto's. So there's some other things I was dealing with that were kind of throwing me through a loop and triggering lupus-like symptoms. And so in my mind, I was thinking, well, I have lupus under control, but I don't have all the other issues under control, which means I still have something lingering inside of me, especially if I keep getting new diagnoses of autoimmune diseases. And that's what made me start digging further. This past year, I've been really researching about Candida, fungal infections, bacteria infections, and what to do about it. And then I started going down the rabbit hole of how this whole thing is connected and what it's all about. I was doing well in the sense where I was on a paleo diet and I loved it. I don't really have any fatigue. I work 12-hour days. I still make time for family and friends. I still make time to have me time. And yet I still would get tired, as sometimes I have joint pain, and I knew that I wanted more. It wasn't good enough, and I wanted to feel 100% better. And I didn't want to have this fear of am I going to trigger a flare-up? Am I going to trigger any symptoms by doing X, Y, and Z? I was really happy to find that this was my issue, and I can't wait to bring you on this journey to see how it's not going to be an issue anymore. By avoiding gluten, soy, dairy, and eating mostly plant-based vegetables, eating mostly a plant-based diet, like I said, I was on paleo. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life having to avoid foods and walking around with food fear. And I don't want you guys to do that too, because you're not solving the problem. So after doing all this research on underlying causes of interstitial cystitis and the other autoimmune diseases that I mentioned earlier, I really found that Candida was the trigger for all of them. And as it continues to overgrow, it makes your body and your immune system worse. So that's when I was like, this is enough. I can't do it anymore. So if you have fibro, thyroid conditions, autoimmune disease, and you're thinking this diet's not working, these supplements aren't working, they probably aren't, or they are, and it's just not good enough, then keep watching. Comment below what symptoms you're experiencing and what you've done so far. I'd love to hear your experience. The best way to really tackle this is to have testing so that you know exactly what to tackle and exactly what to eradicate from your body. That way you're not wasting a ton of money, thousands of dollars, on supplements that don't work. Because they're not gonna work if you don't have that problem, or if you don't have that bacteria, or you don't have that fungal overgrowth. How to do that is you would see a functional medicine doctor. You can see one that's online. You don't have to go to them. They would order testing, and you can either go to your conventional doctor and request those tests, have your functional, so that way it's covered under insurance. Then you would have your functional medicine doctor read it because they are the only ones that understand how to read it. My rheumatologist, I see a different rheumatologist. She is the PA and she is phenomenal. She totally supports the natural approach. In fact, she's starting to see it herself and her friends, other patients. Even though I love her because she has admitted that she doesn't know how to read that testing, so therefore she wouldn't be the best fit. That is phenomenal. A doctor who knows that she is a conventional medicine doctor and she doesn't know enough, but still will support me on my journey to health is one that I would never get rid of. And I don't want you to stop finding a doctor until one is like that. If you're having trouble finding a functional medicine doctor, click on a link below and that will help you find one in your area. Or you can Google functional medicine doctor near me or online. There are tons out there. Anyway, so the test that you should definitely consider: blood work. You need your total IgG, IgA, Candida antibodies. It's important to check all of them because Candida can suppress the immune system. Low levels of IgG or IgA and Candida antibodies can pretty much give you a false negative. So that's why it's always important to have a comprehensive tool and multiple tests. Either way, it's important to have a comprehensive stool test because that's going to really tell you exactly what's in your gut. It analyzes the species of yeast, so it's very specific. It helps you and your doctor know what treatment is going to be the most effective in eradicating it from your body. Another test is the urine dysbiosis test. What's cool about this one is it's going to find a specific enzyme, which is a waste product of the Candida. First, it's going to find a D-arbutinol, which is a waste product of Candida. And that's going to tell you if your upper gut or your small intestine has it. So since I have a few bacteria overgrowths, this is exactly what I do. Anyone with a Candida overgrowth has a personalized plan. You and I might share maybe 10 of the same supplements and a similar diet, but a few of those are going to be tweaked for your needs. Here are the supplements that I take. Don't get overwhelmed, and this is how I stay organized. Before I show you exactly that, I'm going to tell you exactly what my plan is, and then I'm going to show you how I do it. So my plan is to remove the bacteria by taking the right type of supplements, by changing my diet drastically, by working on stress management, replenishing with good bacteria using probiotics and fermented foods, reduce die-off symptoms by taking supplements that will support my immune system, and help with any nutrient deficiencies or low normals that I have. And that way, it will prevent me from feeling those die-off reactions, which could basically feel like a lupus flare-up. And then, once that's all done, I can start eating and putting foods back in that I once was reacting to, in moderation, of course. We don't want to go back to that horrible, sad American diet full of carbs and processed sugars. But we shouldn't have to worry about eating one piece of toast or having a bowl of ice cream maybe once or twice a month. Those are supposed to be treats, and treats aren't supposed to be every night. But as long as we can have that without reacting, we know we're good. My current plan: I can't take any antibiotics, no birth control, or any other hormone-altering prescriptions, because that's going to break down your immune system more and dysregulate everything you're trying to put back into order. I take about 20 different supplements multiple times a day. I know your mind's probably like, oh my god, that is so overwhelming. I don't even know if I can afford that. But listen up first, because this is how I was able to do it all. I drink 3 different teas, and those help each with an ailment that I'm going to go into more detail about. Remember, the goal is not to take them forever. This is a temporary treatment plan. So some of the supplements that I take are wormwood. It has tons of flavonoids, it has vitamin C, tannins, and so many more compounds that actually fight malaria. And if you take Plaquenil, Plaquenil is an anti-malarial medication. So this is a natural approach. Another thing that it does is it gets rid of parasites. And you're probably thinking, ew, I don't have parasites, but everyone actually does have parasites. There's parasites in your tap water, parasites in any seafood, there's parasites in meat. Healthy people are able to get rid of those from their body and it won't affect them, but because our immune system isn't working, we do have that overgrowth and that we have them in our body. So it's important to take supplements that are getting rid of them and causing them to die. This also helps with SIBO, which is a common underlying issue in a lot of us. The next thing I take is alfalfa. I was really hesitant on taking it because we do know it's an immune booster, but I'm taking a lower dose and I haven't had any symptoms. Because I'm taking so many supplements, I think that's why. The next one is milk thistle. If we have lupus, it's usually an origin of a liver problem. You're probably thinking, well, my liver's been tested, it's fine. But we're not talking from a conventional medicine perspective where they only look at emergencies. So unless your liver enzymes are like blown out of proportion, I'm not gonna care about it. So the milk thistle is really, really helpful in helping your liver get rid of the toxins that it's processing as you kill all the bacteria and the parasites and any other infections in your body. The next thing I take is blessed thistle. This helps fight bacterial infections as well. This is a phenomenal anti-inflammatory too, which is another reason why I'm not really feeling any symptoms. The next one is a great antioxidant. This is called Go-To Cola. It helps with skincare too, which I've noticed that mixed with my diet, my skin has improved even more. It also boosts circulation. So if you have Raynaud's, this can be helpful. Plus, if you have APS, or antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, which is a blood clotting disorder, this actually helps prevent blood clots. So no more baby aspirin for you. Like what you see so far, subscribe and click on the bell so you don't miss out next week on our new video. Now back to the topic of the week. Another one is slippery elm. This is a laxative that should help with IBS. It can also reduce symptoms of psoriasis. Another one that I take is Palo d'Arco. Flavonoids as well. Flavonoids are really important and they're great anti-inflammatory. It's actually known to help with fibro and lupus. It's also used during cold and flu season, and this is the perfect time in the dead of winter. It's also great at treating yeast infections, and it can help alleviate chemo symptoms. It also, as if that wasn't enough, helps with C. diff and H. pylori bacteria overgrowth in your gut. And I'm sure if you're watching this, one of you has it, but you just haven't been tested yet. So you take probiotics. Now probiotics is very complicated. You can't just take any probiotic and expect results. I'm going to be doing a separate video on probiotics, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I also take marshmallow root. It's really great for arthritis, it's great for IBS, and it helps with IC sufferers or interstitial cystitis, which is one of the most painful conditions. I think it's like the top 10 people with conditions next to kidney stones. I take Oregon grapefruit, which eases GI pain and cramps, and you might experience that through this detox. It's also another antibacterial and an anti-inflammatory. I take liquid chlorophyll and aloe every single day, and that really, really helps cleanse your body and soothes your GI tract and your black. Now there's 3 phases to finding supplements that are right for you. It took me like 6 hours to find these supplements that were made correctly, because a lot of companies will advertise, for example, this might not even be a thing, but they advertise, let's say, slippery elm. And slippery elm, they decided to put 4 other ingredients in there, like turmeric, another type of herb, either because it's marketing, it sounds cool, or maybe to help something even more. However, stick with the basics. You don't want to overload your system even more, so just try to find something that only has that, and make sure it has the herb that actually works. For example, some herbs have no effects if you take the root, but if you use the flower of the herb, then that's where all of the properties are that help you get better. What I did, I created a list. So I have what I take in the morning, afternoon, evening, and bedtime. And in there, I put right next to it how much I'm taking and what I'm taking. And that way I can keep track of everything that I'm taking, how long it's gonna last me, and when I need to buy more so that I don't run out. Some supplements you don't even have to take every day. Some are taken every other day, which helps you and your budget. So essentially, I'm on a paleo diet still. I love it because you can eat any vegetables you want. You can have alternatives if you have like a sweet craving. You can't have any sugar, so that means you can't have any fruit except for berries, and maybe 1 to 2 cups a day. It is extremely hard. I never realized how addicted I was to sugar until I literally couldn't have sugar. You can't have honey, no maple syrup, no dates, no oranges, bananas, apples, and that's because those sugars are feeding the Candida. So you're basically throwing away all of that money that you spent on supplements, and you're throwing away this idea that you're going to get better if you keep eating those sugars during this phase. It was really hard. I really felt like an addict, or like I wanted to eat anything. I just wanted to like lick a spoonful of honey, or I wanted to buy chocolate. Like I didn't even care, I just wanted to eat a whole bag of chocolate because it was horrible. And so I realized that it wasn't me talking, it was the little Candida bugs. They're like literally dying and they want to stay alive. So what they do is they send these little messages to your brain and they're like, eat everything you can in sight. What I did to help me through the first week, which was the hardest, was I bought dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is very hard to find if you're looking at the regular grocery aisle at like your local supermarket, because every single company adds milk, every company adds wheat, or even maybe it's produced on a production line that has wheat or dairy, and they add sugar to it, which is ridiculous because it was so hard to find something. Finally, I went into the organic gluten-free section, and out of the 20 products that were marketed to as organic, keto, or paleo, I found one chocolate bar that tasted phenomenal, and it's called Hu, H-U. I'm gonna post the link below because I am obsessed with how good their chocolate is. It does have like, I think 2 grams of sugar, which is nothing in comparison to like everything else. So what I would do is just eat some of that until I was able to reduce my cravings even more. Then I transferred into eating berries. I ate strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, and you really start to crave it in a good way. So I became more satisfied, but it does take time. And you have to, it's a mind thing, like you really have to work through it. But it's so worth it because I feel incredible. I would have food aversion as well. I didn't want to eat some vegetables, I didn't want to eat meat, and I think that was just because I was going through a hard time of not knowing what to eat, and I was hungry and I just wanted to eat like pasta, which is not usually like, I don't really crave pasta. It was very hard to plan. What I did was plan my weekly meals, and I would have things frozen. I would make something on Sunday, like a crock pot meal, and I'd have it frozen so that if I didn't feel like cooking, or I was tired, or I was just really busy, I'd have something healthy to go to. And it's so important to be proactive and to be prepared. That way you don't mess up and you don't have to start over again. Whenever I am not hungry but I know I need to eat something, I'll just saute vegetables like bok choy, asparagus, broccoli, maybe some garlic, put some butter in there. Butter is the only dairy that I do eat. It's grass-fed and it's really good. It's also good fats for you. That's pretty much what my diet consists of. Now I crave vegetables like crazy. All I want to do is eat vegetables. I love them, and sometimes I do miss like the convenience of going out and having like, chicken wings at a restaurant with some friends, but it feels really good to choose something that's going to help me get better. And I don't really focus on what I can't have, but I focus on the healing that I'm going to have. And that's a really important mindset shift. And that's what phase 3 is. It's a mental warfare. Like, I was super excited in the beginning to, I'm gonna heal 100% completely. I'm gonna be able to be in remission and everything's gonna be perfect. And then it really hit me with what I can't do. And so I went through this whole mental warfare of what I can't do changed into what I'm going to be able to do and how I'm going to feel because of the decisions I made to help my body heal. And now I enjoy the fact that I am in control of my cravings. And now I enjoy the fact that I'm doing something good for myself. And I think it's important for you to put you first. And this whole self-care thing of self-care, go buy yourself a pedicure, go do this, get your hair done. Sure, that's self-care, but self-care is really what you put into your body and in your mind. And that's where the real care changes because you start to project it outwards. You're happier, you're less moody, you just feel better about yourself, you have more confidence, and I really encourage you to try this. Now I'm not spending any money on co-pays. In fact, last year I reached my deductible the second day, January 2nd, because I had to go to the ER and I was in so much pain from, not from lupus, from a different autoimmune issue. And this year, I haven't gone. Haven't paid one copay. I'm actually saving way more money by doing this. It's incredible. So you're probably wondering about the cost, right? Well, this is an investment for your health. It's an investment so that you can have freedom. I haven't spent a single penny on any doctor's visits, copays, emergencies. All I did was spend money on supplements and tea. And in fact, I've saved money because of on my grocery bill, because I'm not buying any processed foods. I go to Aldi's and I shop for vegetables, which are like half the price of everywhere else. I get as much as I can there, and I've spent, I think, like $60 at Aldi's for 2 weeks worth of food. Then I go to Wegmans, which is like 10 times better than Whole Foods and everywhere else nationally. It's a local chain. I've spent maybe like $100 on meat, and that lasts me more than 2 weeks. So all in all, I've actually cut my grocery bill like $40 to $50 a month. I keep my pill organized. So I bought this, and I'll leave a link below as well. This is a box of pills for the week. Every Sunday, I go through it, and I take my supplements 4 times a day. Not all of them 4 times a day, but I have 4 slots. So it has, okay, there we go. Tell you the day, and then when to take them. Morning, afternoon, evening, and nighttime. And I just throw it in. I like this one because it comes in a giant container. It just clips shut. It does stay shut too. I've dropped it like 14 times already. It doesn't open, thank God. I spent an hour reading reviews of all different types of pill boxes because I don't want to waste my money, and I'm sure you don't want to either. What's good about this one is that these don't rub off. The images and the name, like, or the day of the week, doesn't rub off. Also, if you drop it, this should not open. Some of the other pill boxes, they would open and they'd spill everywhere. So you would just have like all of your pills confused for the day, because a lot of the supplements, they do look the same. Listen to how I stay organized, and it hasn't messed me up once. I've been doing this for a month. Have you traveled with this before? It can be really daunting. So that's why I'm actually going to be traveling overseas, and I thought it'd be perfect timing to put up a video before the spring starts and before all the traveling happens for the summer. How to travel with lupus in comfort, and how to prevent a flare-up, and how to decrease the worry of getting a flare-up. Whether your ride is 3 hours or 20 hours like mine, you are not going to want to miss this video. In the meantime, while you wait for that awesome video, make sure to click on these 2 videos right here so you can learn more about root causes and how to navigate through your healthcare system as well as your work. Thanks so much for watching. Subs if you loved it, thumbs if you liked it, and as always, I appreciate your support. I'll see you next week.